Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video, doing the third and final Autumn 2021 season model roundup for this video. So a pretty big video, I think you'll agree. We're getting 16, I think that's probably a record, 16 long-range season models together for the third and final time this season to see what they're all showing for Autumn 2021. Of course, it is ahead of tomorrow's autumn forecast that we're going to be releasing at GavsWeatherVids at 10 AM. So you'll get to see tomorrow what we're forecasting for Autumn 2021. But yeah, the last thing we can do, because we finished our autumn updates last weekend, so the last thing we can do for you is bring you the model data for one final time, and that's what I'm going to get on with in a moment. Just to say that the first video released today was our 7 AM forecast. We've got the week ahead forecast, as always on Saturday, weekend look ahead. That's coming up in a little while. And we'll have a 10 to 14 day this afternoon as well. Busy old day at GavsWeatherVids. It's busy old weekend, I have to say. I'm going to be collapsed in a heap, I think, by bank holiday Monday. But I'm going to get it all done for you. And so let's get on with it then, Shane. Thank you so much to Rich. Thank you so much to Rich for the autumn updates gift. This will be the final time that you see the autumn updates gift. We've got a special gift tomorrow for the forecast itself that you will get to see. Right, okay, let's turn off the webcam then, and we'll go through this model data. So we're going to run through these as quick as we can. So we've got 16, 16 to go at, so it is going to be a little bit of an epic, this. But I'll get through as quickly as I can. I'll tell you what, let's put webcam back on, because why not? There we go. Why not have webcam on in that bottom left-hand corner? Most of these charts and maps, we're perched right on the very end at the top. Right, so where we are there with CanSips is where we are on most of the maps, actually. So I don't think my webcam will be obscuring the view, because we're right up top right on most of the charts. Right, okay, so this is mean sea level pressure anomaly, first of all, from CanSips at chocolatebits.com. Looks rather anticyclonic. So every model now is going to be fully through the autumn. There's no messing around, you know, being a month here or there short. Every single chart you see will be fully for the autumn. So CanSips showing high pressure dominating weather across the UK and Ireland in this autumn. So it's an anticyclonic autumn being signalled there. The temperature anomaly from CanSips is close to maybe slightly above average. Not a particularly warm autumn, but we're probably closer to being above average than we are to being below average. And of course, with high pressure dominating the weather in the autumn, we have a drier than average autumn as well. So a mild, dry, anticyclonic autumn to kick us off from CanSips. Right, we'll have a look at the NMME suite of models. So it's kind of like Copernicus, has several models, you know, within this overall suite of models, all looking at temperature and precipitation anomalies. So this is NASA. This is the NASA model for autumn 2021. Temperature anomaly close to maybe slightly cooler than average. Actually, if we come over here, you can see that most parts of the continent are actually forecast to have a colder than average autumn. Interestingly, most parts of Europe below average temperatures. We're close to average, but definitely a rather cooler season predicted there from NASA than you very often see. You know, NASA is normally one of those models that go really warm all of the time. It's also going for a rather drier than average autumn as well. So I think again it's probably an anticyclonic signal. And probably lining up jet stream on the northwest southeast line, and so that's a reason I would have thought that the temperature is a little bit on the cooler side. This is the GM, so this is like the Canadian GM, of course. We've got CanSips, which is also a Canadian model, but this is like the broad GEM that we use every day for our 10 to 14 day videos. So GEM temperature anomaly, again, it's around average, maybe slightly above average just to our west, but then again, just to our east, it is rather below average. So a little bit of a trend with some of these North American models so far. little bit of a trend there to be a bit on the cold side through northern and western parts of Europe, albeit perhaps not necessarily for the UK and Ireland. Again, we're seeing a rather drier than average autumn with Kansas. Precipitation anomaly for autumn 2021 is coming out on the drier than average side. And then we've got NCAR, the NCAR model with temperature anomalies. I'm so sorry, everybody. Temperature anomalies for NCAR look like that. It is rather below average, again, a rather cold average autumn being seen there for like Western Europe. So, I mean, several of these models sort of look a little bit cooler, I have to say, for this sort, which is a little bit different, a little bit unusual. Again, they're all agreeing on a rather dry of an average season as well. So NCAR is also going, excuse me, NCAR is also going rather dry, but is rather on the cool side as well. So maybe an anti-cyclone, maybe frosty sort of autumn being picked up on there between these models. This is probability temperature forecast from IRI, which of course is International Research Institute for Climate and Society, part of Earth Institute and Columbia University. So probability is neither favouring for autumn 21, neither favouring a warmer or a cooler than average autumn. You know, vast swathe of white there indicating, but there is no signal in terms of temperatures, which is interesting because normally these probability maps, you know, favour warmer than average temperatures a lot of the time. So the fact that it's not picking up on a signal, has no signal for autumn, for temperatures across most of Europe and the UK, and Ireland including that, of course, you know, might be a bit of an indication that this season could be a little bit on the cooler side. Precipitation probability looks like that. So most parts of northern Europe looking drier than average, but actually for the UK and Ireland, maybe hinting at being, probabilities maybe hinting at being a bit wetter. Actually, it is rather a bizarre probability map, I have to say, because we've got like northern France and the Low Countries a strong probability to be below average for rainfall, but then just into like the UK, through Scotland, and even into parts of England and Wales, probability is favouring slightly anyway a wetter than average season. So it's rather a strange probability forecast that. And East Anglia, like, is favoured to be a little bit on the drier than average side. So I don't think there's all that much of a signal from these probability forecasts for this autumn, either from temperature or probably from precipitation perspective. Oh dear. Got a little bit of a tickle in the throat tonight. Wow. Okay, we're going to persevere, though. We'll look at Patal Peng's analogues next. Our good friend Patal Peng, of course. We love to show Patal Peng's analogues in our live streams. So, if you saw the live stream where we featured Patal Peng's analogues, you'll know what Patal Peng is forecast. This is a 200 millibar height anomaly. Remember, it's an analog forecast, so it's not like a model. It's not like CFS or whatnot. This is a different way of forecasting. Patal Peng looks at sea surface temperature anomalies across the world in any given month, in this case in July of 2021, and then creates an analogues-based forecast, an analogues forecast based on those sea surface temperature anomalies for the months ahead. So this is a 200 millibar height anomaly for the autumn of 2021 from Patal Peng, going for a mid-Atlantic ridge, but it does connect back to blocking within the northern latitudes, and then a trough of below average heights over the top of the UK. That would seemingly hint at bringing in like northerly or northeasterly winds, probably quite an unsettled signal therefore, probably quite a wet signal, and perhaps quite a coldish signal as well, if that came off, especially later on, especially later on in the season. The temperature anomaly from Patal Peng is very close to or slightly above average. Notice it is warmest, though, over on the eastern side of Europe. So if it's warmest there, you think it's going to be coolest, like in the west and the northwest. That's the way things balance out, a lot of the time. And the precipitation anomaly is drier than average to our north of Scotland, where we've got the blocking, and also, interestingly, around Scandinavia and Norway, and wetter than average to our south. We've got a trough of low pressure. I think Patal Peng could be signaling quite a cold autumn, especially later on in the autumn, with some early wintry potential. Certainly by November, we might get some wintry potential with Patal Peng's analogues. And then lastly, for the North American models, we've got CFS V2, so this is the 500 millibar, no, it's not a 700 millibar height anomaly from CFSV2 for autumn 2021, going for above average heights, high pressure across the north and the west of Europe. So rather a dryish sort of autumn, and probably quite a mild autumn as well, with winds coming in from like a southerly, southwesterly direction. Temperature anomaly is forecast to be above average, not just UK, but for most parts of northern, central and western Europe. And the precipitation anomaly, no particular signal, but I would have thought a rather dryish season would be most likely, especially so to more southern and eastern areas. Right, so that's North American models done. Let's have a look at European models next. So we've got the ECM WF here. If you're enjoying this season model roundup for autumn 2021, please can you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much everybody for doing that for GavsWeatherVids, and drop a comment and let us know what you think about this and all of our videos. What do you think is going to happen this autumn? Let me know in the comments. Give me your autumn forecast. Right, so this is how the mean sea level pressure anomaly is looking for autumn 2021 from ECM, going for a mid-Atlantic ridge, which will send the jet stream on the northwest-southeast alignment. So the Atlantic is rather blocked off. There will be quite a bit of dry weather, but it could be a bit on the cool side with that. We go through the temperature anomaly, and not much of a signal really, maybe hinting at being slightly above average, but then again, a lot of these models are a lot of the time, and actually that is a relatively lower temperature anomaly than you often see. So basically no signal to perhaps a little bit above average, and no particular signal for precipitation either. Notice it is drier in the Atlantic though, so definitely the North Atlantic is kind of blocked. It's wetter than average to our north up here in the Norwegian Sea and heading towards Norway. So I think it does definitely hint that we've got the jet stream on a northwest southeast alignment there. Right, I'm going for the Copernicus suite next. This is Meteo France, mean sea level pressure anomaly. This one, again, quite anticyclonic. It is a trend for a lot of these models so far. Anticyclonic with above average height centered, or above average pressure, as it means sea level pressure. Above average pressure centered over the UK and Western Europe, so high pressure dominating. A rather milder than average autumn predicted, but only weakly so. But Meteo France does go for a slightly milder than average autumn under that area of high pressure, and a rather dryish autumn being signalled as well. GWV, the German model, again looking anticyclone. It's a slightly different placement of the anticyclone though, a little bit more to our north and northeast, possibly allows a bit more of an easterly wind, I suppose, which could be a bit colder if that was to occur later on in the autumn. That would drag in colder air from off the continent. But basically, DWD is also another anticyclonic signal, and we see slightly above average temperatures forecast. Again, notice many parts of Europe are actually warmer though with DWD compared to Meteo France, for example. And the precipitation anomaly from DWD, again, as you'd expect, high pressure in control. It looks a little bit on the drier than average side. CMCC, rather different this one. This is the Mediterranean model, and this one has a high pressure much further northwards. High pressure is more of a northern blocking feature around Greenland and Iceland. That could allow colder air, especially later on in the autumn, to come in from the east or from the northeast. So that, if you want a cold autumn, that's kind of thing that you're looking for with high pressure. Quite a lot further northwards. Actually, the model only goes for slightly above average temperatures, so no particularly cold temperatures forecast pretty much anywhere in the world, really, which is a little bit over the top, I think. And based on the, that's the model going over the top with a warmer than average signal. Based on that mean sea level pressure anomaly, you get the wind in from the east and from the northeast, so there's no reason why that wouldn't be cold, especially later on in the autumn. And again, it just does look a little bit on the drier than average side as well, with CMCC a little bit drier than average during autumn 2021. This is the ECCC showing high pressure again, rooted very close to the UK. It's a trend, you have to say. It's a trend for this autumn to be anticyclonic with a lot of these models. The temperature anomaly from the ECCC is average to slightly above, and the precipitation anomaly, as you expect, high pressure dominating, is driving average from the ECCC. And then, although Copernicus, we're moving on to the Asian models, starting with JMA. So this is the mean sea level pressure anomaly from the JMA for autumn 2021. This is interesting. Again, it's going for blocking, and it's even further north than you know, some of those other models have it. So it's much more centered towards Greenland with this. And with that, we really would bring in like wind from the northeast through this autumn. Now, of course, we isolated the JMA out a couple of days ago and had a look at it in a video on its own. If you saw that video, you'll know that the JMA is going for like an increasing blocking signal as we go through the autumn. So by November, there could be some wintry potential in there, I think. Temperature anomaly is lower compared to most of these models, actually showing no signal, which is much more what you'd expect with high pressure within the northern latitudes. You would expect a colder season. It is actually going for a rather cold and average autumn around the Baltic Sea and some parts of Scandinavia, which you'd expect. So the JMA, you know, much lower with the temperature anomaly, much more towards no signal, not convinced about warmer than average at all. That's what you'd expect with northern blocking being involved. And no particular signal for precipitation other than to be drier to our north. So a drier autumn around Iceland, again indicative of that northern blocking, which of course sends jet stream southwards and allows the wind to come in from the northeast. So I reckon the JMA probably, reading between the lines, hints at a colder than average autumn. We've got JAMSTEC next. So this is the geopotential height anomaly, 850 millibars. This is something new from JAMSTEC. They're emailing the updates, by the way, at the moment. So hats off to JAMSTEC for doing that. JAMSTEC are going for high pressure above average heights to be centered over UK and western parts of Europe as well. JAMSTEC is going for a warmer than average autumn, pretty much across the whole of the Northern Hemisphere and the UK and Ireland included in that. And also, as you expect, with high pressure dominating, a drier than average autumn as well. It is a trend within this update for a lot of these models to be anticyclonic. Go to China next, go from Japan to China, and we're nearly at the end now, by the way, we're at the penultimate model. So this would be 500 millibar height anomaly for autumn 2021 from Beijing Climate Center. Again, as with so many of these models, going for above average heights, high pressure to be centered more or less over the UK and Western Europe as well. That's 500 millibar height anomaly, 200 millibar height anomaly, also showing that area of high pressure ridging through the UK into the North Atlantic. It's a trend. It may be the wrong trend, but it is a trend with most of these models to be high pressure dominated. The temperature anomaly for the autumn is slightly above average, slightly milder than average autumn is predicted. And of course, with so much high pressure, we expect, we confirm that our expectation of a dry and average autumn is there with Beijing Climate Center as well. So a mild and dry, high pressure dominated autumn with the Beijing Climate Center. And then finally, we've got UK Met. This is how UK Met means pressure anomaly is looking. And again, it's anti-cyclonic. The position of high pressure again is slightly different, a little bit more to our west-southwest. Would allow rather more of a westerly flow in off the Atlantic. But it's still much of a muchness. High pressure in control. Temperature anomaly is a little bit above average. The precipitation anomaly looks pretty dry, especially to our west and to our southwest as well. And that is by far the main trend within most of these models for this update. The high pressure to be dominating the weather during this autumn and giving us a drier but also milder or warmer than average autumn. Albeit, if you've still got high pressure hanging around in November, it could start to get colder from frost and that sort of thing. There are a few models there, but again, for northern blocking. JMA is particularly interesting. It's a very good model. It called last winter correctly, you know, got the northern blocking signal right for last winter when all of the European models and all of the North American models failed totally with last winter. It's only like JMA and the Beijing Climate Center, the Asian models, that got it right last winter. So don't discount what the JMA is doing there with that blocking, northern blocking signal for this autumn, potentially giving us a colder autumn, especially later on. Talpain's analogues seem to add a little bit as well later on in the autumn. So later on, we might get the blocking, or we might get high pressure going north and becoming a northern blocking feature later in the autumn. But early in the autumn, just looks generally quite anticyclonic. And I suppose, particularly for September, relatively warm and dry signal among many of these models. Right, that's it then. We've gone through all 16. That's our final sort of update for the autumn. There's nothing else left to do now other than release our forecast. So at 10 a.m. tomorrow, Sunday 29th of August, you will see the GavsWeatherVids autumn 2020-21 forecast. And it's going to be an interesting watch, and you'll find out what we are predicting for this autumn tomorrow from 10 a.m. This video is within the playlist, the Autumn Updates playlist, so you can watch it on demand whenever you want at the channel. And yeah, autumn forecast tomorrow. Come back later on for the week ahead forecast, and don't forget 10 to 14 day that will be released after that this afternoon. For the third and final Autumn 2021 Season 1 Roundup, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.